Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. We are joined today by Ramon Baca with the Livingston County Veteran Services. Welcome, Ramon.
Hi, good morning.
Thanks for being here today. We're excited to have you on to just share a little bit about what it is you do and who you are. And of course, Veterans Day is right around the corner. So we're just kind of excited to have you on to share an update with our community today.
All right, well, thanks for having me. I'm currently the director of Livingston County Veteran Services. Our address is 1420 Lawson Drive in Howell. We're right next to the Secretary of State and also in the same area as the Kohl's department store. A little background about myself is I came to Howell early this year when I retired from the United States Army after 25 years. I retired as a command sergeant major. I was an airborne infantryman for all of those years. I actually met my wife while we were in the Army. We were both serving the 101st Airborne Division at the time, back in 2008. She's from Howell, hence why we're here now. She did her 4-year term as a 68 Whiskey combat medic, and she did her time and then got out and then followed me around until it was time for me to retire this past year. And so when I first arrived, I actually became a project manager for Jervis Webb down in Novi. Then this position opened up. I saw it and seized the opportunity, interviewed, and luckily they chose me, and so hence here I am.
Oh, that's exciting. You guys were just kind of looking to come back to Howell because she had roots here, and then this job became available. That's exciting stuff. So what is it that you do in your role?
So what we do is I manage 4 counselors, 3 drivers, and 2 front desk personnel. And essentially as a department, what we do is we service on the upwards of all 10,000 Livingston County veterans as they want to navigate their benefits and their options through the VA claims process, the Veterans Affairs. And so what we do is we file for them on their behalf. We do any appeals if they need any, and then ultimately until they get awarded. And what that means is benefits that they might have earned through service while they were serving in their respective branch, any ailments or illnesses or injuries. Another thing that we do is we also aid indigent veterans with emergency relief. So in the event that they need some help financially, they can come to us, and we look at the background and their application, and we approve or deny. In most cases, approve some of the help that they need. And some of the capacities is things such as utilities, rent, or things of that nature that may be overdue that they need help with to get back up on their feet and running again.
Oh, that's amazing. I think that one of the things that surprised me while you were speaking is the number of veterans residing in Livingston County. Would you mind just repeating that again so our listeners could kind of wrap their head around that?
Sure, absolutely. So we have on the upwards of 10,000 veterans that served in all the various eras, stemming back to World War II, Korea, of course, Vietnam. That's a large of our majority currently, and then moving on into the Cold War, and then the Desert Storm period, which started with the Gulf War. And actually that period has never closed out, believe it or not. So I'm an Afghanistan and Iraq veteran, but still fall under that the Gulf War era. Our current generation, I would say my current generation, is considered the Global War on Terror, or GWOT era. And so hence that's where the approximate 10,000 or so veterans come from.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big number. So you mentioned some of the services that you guys offer. What are some of the ways that you help communicate these services to veterans to kind of get the word out there? And then, what are some of the other things that you guys do too?
Sure. So some of the ways we communicate is we have, of course, our website. It's a county website. We've also revamped our Facebook and recently started an Instagram. And so those are some of the ways. We've also announced here at WHMI the posts and the various newspapers in the community. Some of the additional services that we offer is we do case management for ongoing support, as I already mentioned, for the VA benefit recipients. We help spouses, if you will, widows, file for their veterans' pensions and survivors' benefits. Some of the other things that we've also recently revamped is the burial benefits. So by state law, every county is mandated to provide $300 of assistance towards a burial allowance. Well, Livingston County, we have been able to up that number to up to $1,000 for services incurred for burial, cremation, and funeral expenses as it relates to the death of an eligible veteran, to include the death of an eligible spouse of the veteran, death of a qualifying dependent child or parent. We also provide Memorial Day flags and grave markers. We offer financial assistance, as I've already mentioned, such as the food, gas, home repairs, utility bills. Recently, we have a new initiative that we began where we give $200 child clothing vouchers for children of indigent veterans. Our transportation services, we have 3 drivers, 3 vans, where we take veterans from their place of residence to medical appointments within a 50-mile radius. And that's not just to the VA hospital, that's all of the various medical facilities throughout that radius if the veteran needs a ride there. And so the veterans can schedule as early as 30 days out from their appointment, as late as 24 hours prior. To schedule those rides, we work hand in hand with our community LETs, and their phone number is 517-546-6600. And when the person calls in, press number 3, and they just mention they're a veteran. And that automatically alerts the dispatcher to schedule the ride with one of my 3 drivers for that given day.
How's the lead time on that? Is that something that is pretty responsive as far as getting something scheduled, or would somebody want to plan in advance, a few days or?
Yeah, no, it's like I said, the folks down there at the LETs dispatching service are wonderful, and so they're very responsive. They answer immediately. If they don't answer, it's because they're already on another phone call with another passenger from throughout Livingston County, because again, they service all of the Livingston County veterans for a bunch of different rides, to include the various department stores or grocery stores or what have you.
And would you say that's a pretty well utilized service?
I think so. They have a lot of riders, and I see their buses all over the place, and I know they stay very busy. And so again, they provide a huge service with helping us dispatch our drivers, again, specifically for our medical appointments.
Yeah, that's a huge benefit, and obviously something that is very, would be very much needed, especially if they have the medical needs and things. So that's fantastic that there's a service that you guys provide. But I guess my next question is kind of, where do you see the most utilization of benefits, and where do you guys need more support, or what benefits or needs are you seeing kind of grow?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we have a large population of the Vietnam era veterans, and that's largely due to many of them were drafted, so hence you have a larger concentration of those veterans. And so we have seen the uptick and rise of those veterans coming into the office needing their needs met through the Veterans Affairs. And so I would say that largely that's where we concentrate, is connecting folks to the VA for both medical appointments, getting in their healthcare system, and then of course getting compensation if they see the need to reward that particular veteran compensation for whatever ailment or illness or injury that they went in for.
Okay. Now, would you say that you're seeing an increase in kind of the mental health evaluations, services that you guys offer, or financial assistance? I know that the prices of everything are increasing and have increased significantly just in the past year alone. So how are you guys kind of meeting those needs, and are you seeing that trend as growing?
No, that's a great question and point, Janelle. Mental health evaluations, we do help connect to the various providers, as well as when it comes to a VA claim, we can actually pay for those services to help the application get sent forth to the VA. There has been an uptick in those services as well, and just trying to meet the needs. The stigma of many years ago has luckily kind of fallen a little bit by the wayside, where folks who have been in combat environments or training, or simply just had some sort of trauma throughout their time in their service, they are finding it a little bit easier to open up and go talk to one of the professional providers to explain their situation, and then therefore they can gain a better medical help and expertise to guide them and navigate them, throughout their following days and the rest of their life.
Absolutely. Well, I know that that's even something, just in general, that everybody is kind of seeing across all industries and all, just the rapid changing environment that we have, and just being able to kind of deal with that. So that's wonderful that you guys are providing that service. Unfortunately, that we're seeing that uptick. So I guess it's going to dovetail into my next question here is, how are you guys able to kind of meet that demand? I understand that there is a millage proposal, an operational millage proposal on the ballot this year. So if you wanted to just kind of expand on that a little bit, and where that might be able to continue to support the operational needs of your services.
Yes, absolutely. As mentioned, upcoming November 8th election ballot, we have proposed 0.1127 mills for the next 6 years if passed, which will generate slightly over $1 million per year if levied. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we will levy it per year. We look at our budget, our operating costs, and then we levy as needed. So if approved, that can generate that sort of income. And what it boils down to is the owner of a home with a market value of, let's say, $170,000, it costs that homeowner approximately $10 per year in regards to those mills that we're proposing. So the funding provides the increased financial relief programs that we've already kind of spoken about. As to your point, largely a lot of items and things out there on the market have risen in cost. Everything's rising. And so sometimes some of those veterans' incomes don't go as far as they used to. And so hence going back to food, fuel, utilities, home repairs, all of those sorts of things, when a veteran finds themselves that their income level isn't quite substantial enough to help them navigate those items, that's when they come to us, and then we can help them with those relief. So that's a large sum of where our money can go to, as well as those increased burial benefits that I mentioned earlier. Again, by state law, every county is mandated to provide up to $300. However, we've been lucky enough to be able to have some funds to actually help those loved ones left behind with up to now $1,000, because again, the costs have risen to include mounting those burial markers and what have you. So,
well, that's definitely sounds like that funding is needed and would be put to great use. So where can somebody find more information on any of the things that we discussed today?
Yeah, so again, you can follow us on our websites, our Facebook, our Instagram. Our number is 517-546-6338, where you can call to make an appointment.
Perfect. Nope, that sounds wonderful, and we want to make sure that we can help get that information out too, so we'll include that with the video posting today. But thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you back on again soon.
Thank you so much.